the camera too early. Hello, loves. Welcome back to Beautifully Imbalanced. I am DaShay Carter, of course. This episode will be on healthy coping skills. It's the healthy coping skills series, and we will be talking about journaling. Um, Before I dive in, I want to talk a little bit about my clothing brand. So my clothing brand is centered around self-love. This is one of my, you can't see the design because of the light, but this is a custom piece that I made for myself, and the collection will be coming out. I don't want to say soon. It'll be coming out before fall though. And the collection is "You Are the Sun." I got that from Grey's Anatomy, and it helped me when I was exiting my last marriage, and now it helps me to remind myself who I am, because sometimes, we all struggle with comparing. It is what it is. It's a fact, honey. I'm not the only one. We struggle with comparing, and I have to remind myself that I am the sun, and I'm a star, and the stars all shine together, and I don't want to say no star is more beautiful than the next, but no star is more beautiful than the next. They shine together, and it doesn't take away the shine from anyone else, but it's just like a happy reminder for me to be true to who I am and to show up for myself, and just to tap into my gifts and who I am, and my voice, and my talents and my skills, and to just be big like the sun, and be bold like the sun, and let my light reach all of you guys like the sun reaches us all and warms us and heals us. And so it is my reminder to be all of those things and more, and so I let it lift me up, and so that's what my brand is about. It's about phrases and affirmations that lift you and push you beyond where you are right now, because sometimes we live in these bubbles. I call it a jar, because when you put the jar on and you put that mason jar top on, and you're suffocated because you yourself, you who you are, all of the things that make you amazing are just jammed in that jar, and you don't get to express all of you. You don't get to tap into those pieces as deeply as you would like to, because you are stuck in that jar, the jar that you put yourself in, that you allowed other people to put you in, however you got in the jar, you're in there, and so it's important to break that jar and be who you are, and take yourself to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. And I have found that there's different parts of myself that I have to work. Like I've already tapped into them, but now I have to work them like a muscle so they can go stronger and stronger and stronger, and just lift up, 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 up. And so that's where my brand comes from. That's what my brand is all about. Is about lifting us up and taking us to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. And I guarantee you that one phrase will help you at different parts of your journey, because it has helped me, especially the love your body. The love your body every step of the journey. It started after my second child, because my body made the changes, and I was working out, and I was trying to sell Beachbody, and I was stressing about weight gain and this and that. And honestly, I didn't even know at the time that I was feeling my PCOS symptoms more heavily, my polycystic ovarian symptoms more heavily, and so I was thinking that I wasn't doing good enough, and a lot of different things that come with weight loss and fitness journey, all right? And so that's what I needed. But now I'm like loving my body, but I still use it on those days where I feel bloated. and I feel like I look like I'm pregnant, but I'm not. Or on those days where, maybe my skin breaks out or I have a pimple or whatever, I just remind myself that I'm going to love my body every step of the journey. I'm not going to wait till I get to this destination of this ideal weight or body shape or whatever. I'm going to love my body now because she's taking care of me right now. So these things can grow and carry with you, these phrases and affirmations and things. And I know if they've helped me, they can for sure help you. So that is what my clothing brand is about. The next thing I want to discuss is my Patreon. Um, on this channel, I share my story and I share what has helped me and what I have learned that can help you, right? So you can take away whatever you can from this. In Patreon, we do the work. In Patreon, I have monthly challenges that I have done myself. I have monthly challenges in there for us to do the work and grow and support and uplift each other. I have resources in there for you to learn more about yourself and to grow. I also have I said resources. I said the challenges. There's chats in there. I go live in there. So there's a lot of stuff in there. There's daily affirmations in there. So Patreon is where we do the work. Here, you listen and you learn and you choose what you apply to yourself. Patreon, we do the work. And then I also will be starting in July 2024. I will be doing webinars every other month. And the webinars will be free webinars, and they will be more of a structured teaching setting. Okay, and so this upcoming webinar is unlocking your self-love by healing your inner child, and so that is what we are focused on. Unlocking your self-love, and that's what the challenges are called as well. Unlocking your self-love, because we have locked our self-love away for whatever reason. You know the reason. And so we are here to heal together and to unlock that self-love and to dive into the depths and the power of self-love. And so that's what the webinars are about. Before I push forward, we do a lot of healing, a lot of talking, and it gets deep and it gets emotional and it gets passionate. And so sometimes after watching a video or a Patreon lesson or a webinar, you may need someone to talk to. And if you cannot reach me, or a friend or a family member, or you just really want to talk to someone fresh, someone new, there is someone that I go to, one of the very few people that I trust with my vulnerability, and her name is Char. She's known on social media as Says What She Wants, and she is very powerful, very spiritual. She has personal experience and educational background in these areas, and like I said, she has helped me. And so her information will be on the screen and in the description. So make sure you check out all the links in the description. There will be links for everything that I've mentioned. And yeah, I think that's everything. Let's dive into some healthy coping skill. And before we dive deep, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you can be notified every time I post a new video. I don't know why I said little. My legs, y'all, been sitting like this for a while. So this coping skill has helped me so much. Honestly, it's been helping me since I was in high school, I think. When did I start writing poetry? My goodness. I want to say I started in high school. Let's say I started in high school. Maybe middle school. actually, because I used to write songs. I'm trying to get comfortable. Whew. So writing is so beneficial. It's something about like the release, and it will begin to pour out of you. Your feelings will begin to pour out of you so rawly, because when we say things vocally to others, we kind of, our mind naturally censors us, depending upon who we're talking to and what we're talking about, the levels of trust and all the things. But when you write, it just pours out of you, and you're able to express every little thing that's inside of you. And it's good. It's good to have that release and to feel heard. It's so good. And that in itself is very healing. Because it helps you get to the root of a lot of things. Oh, I don't have that book in here. It helps you get to the root of a lot of things. I'll share it on my Patreon. I have a journal that my therapist suggested that I have been using as well. But so you can write freely. You can write freely, and that's what I like to do. Sometimes it's a poem, and it's raw, and it's deep. And sometimes it's just me pouring my heart out, just saying all the things that I felt like I couldn't say. And it gets deep and emotional, and I just cry, and I let the tears fall, and I just keep writing. And it really gets you in tune with how you're feeling, because sometimes we don't know how we're feeling until we start writing, because we're not able to name the feeling. We just know that we feel some type of way. I really feel like that's where they got that from. They don't know how to name their feelings, so they'd be like, I feel some type of way. No, honey, you angry. You frustrated. You name the feeling, because when you name the feeling, you're able to connect it to why you feel that way. You need to connect it to why you feel that way. And you always, let me stop saying you. It's a we thing. Okay? Sometimes we connect the feeling to a person. Well, they made me mad. Okay, what did they do? Because it's the action that made you mad. And the action is connected to something deeper. And that's what made you mad. It's not this person. This person is what kind of triggered it. And we have to connect all those dots. And the more we do it, the more it'll happen in our mind without us even having to do all that extra work. But we have to start it. We have to kick it. We have to get that ball rolling. And for me, that was writing. Writing was what helped me name those feelings. Writing was what helped me get in tune with how I was feeling inside, because I had a habit of suppressing. My brain naturally suppresses things to save me. She's trying to keep me from being hurt and disappointed, and so she suppresses things, because if it's suppressed and I feel nothing and I'm numb, then I don't need to bring it up to you. I don't need to have a conversation to you about how I felt about how you were moving with me or how you handled me. I don't have to have that conversation. I don't have to be disappointed that you're not going to change how you move with me, and so now I have to let you go. I don't have to have that conversation because I don't feel it, because I suppressed it, because I'm numb. So writing it breaks up that numbness. It helps you to feel what you need to feel, and it helps you to understand why you feel that, because you'll start to write and you'll be like, well, I feel this way, and then you'll connect the feeling with why you feel that way, or how you were treated when you were a kid, or another situation that happened in adulthood, and you'll be able to get to the root of it. And that is where the healing comes in. The root. So you can do this by writing freely. I used to try to do prompts. They make me feel caged in, because I feel like I have to answer the question exactly the way it's asked and all the things. But prompts are helpful. I just recently started doing prompts for throat chakra, because my throat chakra needs some healing, honey. And so I started doing prompts for that. But when it comes to other things, I don't. I just write. And so you can do both, or you can pick one, or whatever helps you. You know your history. You know what you need. We act like we don't know what we need because we're not in tune, but we know what we need. And like I said, as you start to write, a lot will reveal itself to you. Your mind will open up to you in a new way. Um, so writing, I'm a huge advocate for writing, but my therapist did suggest two things to me that have also been very helpful when it comes to journaling. And so I remember um, I had got into this phase where I was addicted to healing myself. I was convinced that once I reached a level of being healed, and honestly, it was, now I'm saying a level, but let me be very honest with you. I thought that I could heal myself completely, heal my sexual abuse trauma, heal my trauma with church, heal my trauma with my parents, my family. I thought that I could heal that. I even thought that I could heal my PCOS, my PTSD, my depression, anxiety. I thought I could heal all of those things and be whole, so then I would be worthy of love. And I'm worthy of love now, how I am. I was trying to heal myself instead of accepting myself for who I am. I accepted the positive parts of me, the parts that society and my previous community taught me were positive, and I rejected the dark parts of me, the unhealthy parts of me, the unhealed parts of me. And I'm doing air quotes because, honey, some of this stuff is not stuff that you have an issue with. My light went out. Some of this stuff, I did 3 videos, y'all. Some of this stuff is not stuff that you have an issue with. Some of this stuff is stuff that your society or the people around you have an issue with. Sorry, y'all, this video is just gonna have to be dark. And so so we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to have these conversations with ourselves, and sometimes it's easier to do that writing. But at that time in my life, I really felt like I wasn't worthy of love because I had mental health issues. I felt like I wasn't worthy of love because I was abused, and I felt dirty and disgusting, and I felt like even my own parents didn't think I was worthy of love, or else they would have been there to protect me, to reassure me, to nurture me, to care for me, to not neglect me, right? And so I had all of this that I was carrying with me. And so I was going on this spiral, and I would read, I like self-help books because I'm into psychology, but they always became self-help books, right? So I would be reading psychology books that would become self-help books, and I would take this stuff to my therapist, and I'd be like, I want to work on this, and I was like going on this spiral, and I was like finding all these things that were wrong with me, and I was trying to fix them in therapy, actively trying to fix them so I can be worthy of love, to be worthy of a healthy relationship. And she was like, nah, let's slow down because you're doing too much. She didn't say it like that, but that was the gist of it, okay? And so we had to step back and look. And so she didn't want me writing because, like I said, when I write, a lot pours out of me. But sometimes at that time, it was more of a spiral. It was like I was spiraling, like I was having a spiraling conversation with myself. You got to work on this, you got to do this and this. And so when you do that, you're going to do this. And so I would make a list of things that I need to work on and how I was going to work on them and goals and da da da. And so I was going on that. Okay. And so she took writing from me. And she introduced drawing, video, and audio. So those were the form of journaling that I was allowed to do. So I was allowed to draw how I felt, self-portraits. I was allowed to do video journaling, and I was allowed to do audio journaling. Now, the drawing, I drew once. It was helpful. I did like it, but I felt like I was forcing my creativity. Because I was drawing to heal, which is different for writing for me. Like, I literally write poetry to speak, to put my feelings in motion, because sometimes it's easier for me to express them after I've written them. Whereas with art, it just felt like I was putting myself in a cage. So I didn't keep up with that. The video journaling is important because, one, you get to see yourself. Like, I'm looking at myself right now. I get to see my emotions and connect with my emotions. I get to see myself crying, so I know how this situation made me feel. I'm also a visual learner. I don't know what type of learner you are, but I'm a visual learner. So if I'm seeing something while I'm hearing it, it sticks with me longer. So if I know that I just had a conversation with such and she disrespected me and it made me cry, and I know this, and this, I can remember how that made me feel, and if I need to set a boundary, if I need to stand up for myself, if I need to cut that person off, because I've had this visual of me crying about it, me looking, like, the emotion in my eyes and in my face and my body language, and I also heard how hurt I felt. And so it helps you to connect with how you're feeling more deeply, because you can see the emotion and you can hear it at the same time. So that's two of your senses being used. And if you are that type of learner, that's how those are my two strong learners. I'm audio, I'm visual, then I'm audio, then I'm kinesthetic. Those are my three main ways of learning. And so it works for me. It helps me to connect with myself. And I'm trying to sit back so I can be in better lighting. But this room is not big. And so that's what helps. That can be helpful to you. Like I said, you know your history, you know what's going to work for you. I encourage you to try all four, if you want to include art. But that was very helpful as well. It also helps. This next one, the audio, helps with time, because I'm telling y'all, I can journal about what comes on my mind all day, because it'll start with me venting, and then it'll start with me encouraging myself. Then next thing you know, I got a poem. Like, I can just go for days. I'm like a critical thinker. I'm a deep thinker. I have many titles, as a mom, as, someone working on herself. I have friendships, those kind of relationships, all these different things, and so I can write and write and write and write and write. And I don't have time to do that. So the audio journals help. And so the audio journals help in a way because it's like a release. It's like having a conversation. But in this conversation, you're heard. You're not interrupted. You don't have to deal with the opinion of somebody else. And because the thing is, when people give you opinions, they're seeing things through let me see if I can do it, through their lens. They're seeing things through their lens, and they may have a trauma lens. They may have a biased lens. They may have both. And so everybody's advice should be taken with a grain of salt. Because, like I said, you know your history. And what I mean by that is, if I know my trauma, or I know what's triggered me in the past, or I know that I know what I'm capable of, right? People will give you advice based off their capabilities, based off of their history, based off their experience, and their experience may not be yours. For example, I had a friend and we had different attachment styles. We had been through, our backgrounds were similar. We've been through similar childhood experiences, similar traumas, but her attachment style was avoidant and mine was anxious. So what works for her may not work for me, and her advice may feel like judgment to me, and then I feel like I need to shrivel up, and so it's important to know who you are and what works for you, and to keep that in mind when other people are giving you advice. So take their advice into consideration. If you want to, take it with a grain of salt. But when you communicate with yourself, you're able to really connect with who you are. It's just like when you have a deep conversation with someone and you're vulnerable with them and you vent to them, it's like that, but you're having that conversation with yourself and you're able to hear how you sound, you're able to hear how you feel, and you're able to start using this as a way of positively speaking to yourself. I started venting to myself because one, it was suggested to me. Two, it limited me telling my business to people, being vulnerable with people out of convenience. Sometimes we're vulnerable with people because they're there. They don't deserve our vulnerability. We're vulnerable with them because they're there. Sometimes we're vulnerable with people because we just feel like they have that right. They're our partner or they're our best friend. And we feel like they have the right to our vulnerability. That is not true. And sometimes we just really need to talk to someone. Like I said, they're there, or they're someone we've trusted in the past, or someone we trust, period. And so we feel like this is something we should be able to share with them, and it's not. Not to mention, sometimes you don't even get the release that you need to because they interrupting you, or they got their opinion, or you should do this. I would do that, girl. If you didn't, it's a lot that you have to deal with, for males and females. It's a lot. Sometimes they try to solve the problem for you. Sometimes you just want to get it off your chest. There's a lot of different situations. I have found that I communicate with myself first. I do my audio journal, I talk it out, and then if it's still bothering me, then I'll write. If it's still bothering me, then I'll talk to my therapist. But I pick and choose because y'all, I only get an hour. Actually, I get 45 minutes once a week. So I pick and choose. If there's someone that I can trust, like Char, or the other handful of people that I have that I can trust, that to talk to about whatever it is that I'm going through, then I'll communicate with them. And a lot of times, let me tell you this, it's confirmation as to what I had already said to myself. That a lot of times it is. It's about trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, and connecting with what you say to yourself. And this is depending upon where you are on your journey. Because for me, I have battled the negative self-talk. I have. And so I'm not saying it's gone. It's still there, but the voice is really quiet and really faint, whereas now I'm over to overpower it. And so it's about knowing that, having those conversations with yourself and knowing what you need. Like I said, you can have a handful of individuals to talk to, but ultimately it starts with you because you have the answers. And sometimes we don't trust ourselves to know that we have the answers, but you do. Because like I said, you know your history, you know what you're capable of, you know what skills you have instilled in you. And the more you do this, the more it'll come out of you, the more you'll connect with yourself, and it'll just grow from there. So I really encourage you, as a healthy coping skill, when you're feeling things, to do that, to communicate with yourself, whether that's through journaling, whether that's through video, whether that's through drawing, whether that's through audio. Right now, audio is my favorite. It is. Like I said, writing used to be my favorite, and I still do. Like I said, sometimes that pen and paper I need that friction, I need that release, I need it to pour out of me. And so you pick which works best for you, but I encourage you to try all of them. Try them all and find what works best for you. But it's like I said, it's a healthy coping skill. It helps you to air out everything inside of you and release everything inside of you without putting all of your emotional baggage on someone else, without giving your vulnerability to someone that may misguide you. And like it's just a really good release for no matter what you're going through, whether it's happiness, sadness, whether it's depression, whether you are angry, frustrated. Especially the beautiful thing about it is one of the things that helps me to, when it's something that's really deep or really hurtful, you can rip that page out and burn it. And that is like the ultimate release. When it's something that you want to let go and you have to just, and burning that, it helps It sounds crazy to some, but it's so helpful. It's cleansing. And so I encourage you to try journaling. And like I said, you can do prompts, or you can just write how you feel. The same with audio journaling. The same with audio. I watched this guy. I have to put his video in there. I just put his page because there's so many videos. But I watched a video of his, and he talks about how our childhood trauma is affecting our current relationships and our current life. And he talks about it was like a prompt, and he was saying to talk about how you see yourself. And what I did, I don't remember if he said to look in the mirror and say it, or if he said to write it down. But what I did was I paused the YouTube video, and I wrote an audio journal. I did an audio journal about it. And I listened to that. Every time I feel like I just need a reminder of like what I want and how I see myself, because maybe I'm having an insecure day or insecure moment. And I just listen to that, and there's so much passion in my voice as to how I view myself and what I want for myself and the goals, and it just boosts me up to hear how I view myself, to hear my own voice telling me how I view myself. That's the other beautiful thing about audio journals, is you can go back and listen to them, and you can listen to the feeling, the emotion, the rawness. And if you really need to, you can listen to it while looking in the mirror. So it's all you. It's like me talking to you right now, but it's you telling yourself this. So it makes you on fire, like, yes, I can do it because I said so. Because I'm in charge of me, and I'm in charge of my future, and I'm in charge of my healing, and I'm in charge of my destiny. And I said I can do it, so I can. Period. So it's all powerful, and I hope you find which one works best for you. I like all of them, but I've been really big on audio lately. So, and there's apps, because some people don't know this. There's apps in your phone. There's apps you can download, but my iPhone has an audio. What is it called? I don't know. It's audio. Shoot. It's an audio app on here. That audio recordings, voice memos. So I encourage you to try out this coping skill. Remember that you are worthy. You are worthy of being heard. Yes, you are worthy of being heard. You are worthy of connecting with yourself and listening to your inner voice, listening to your intuition. You are worthy of having a deeper connection with yourself, a deeper love with yourself. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of effective, respectful communication. You are worthy of honesty. And I wish you a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time on Beautifully Imbalanced.